So guys, it's official. I could hang up my reviewing hat and just be done. I don't need any more hardware. I can call it, hang up my reviewing career. I have an RGB mouse pad. That's really the last thing I needed, an RGB mouse pad. Oh man, fantastic. Okay guys, so what's an American's favorite computer hardware company? It's Patriot. Huh? Yeah, Patriot? Yeah. Okay, so maybe that's not everybody's favorite company, but we do have a couple of products to review from Patriot. Namely, they have on their Viper side a gaming mouse and a gaming mouse pad. So everybody's trying to jump into that bandwagon and everybody is trying to succeed there. How are they going to measure up? How are they going to do? Well, I suppose we'll find out here in a second. So let's go ahead, jump over to the closer look, kind of get a feel for what's going on. And then we can start talking about, you know, how I felt on these things on a gaming level, on a work level, and wrap this baby up. All right, there we have it. All that RGB glory. I love it. So let's go ahead and take these one step at a time. So I'm gonna actually slide this mouse to the side here. Look at how easy that slid. Probably have to have been there, felt it. So let's look at this RGB mouse pad first. So I've got it running into kind of like the color changing angle. And so you can kind of see here, we've got our, you know, full color, rainbow color thing going on. And I've got it going on like a cycle. But what I've noticed about this cycle is, well, it's a little bit not as impressive as I was hoping it would be. In that it's got a rainbow lit going across the edges, but all it's doing to make it look like it's changing colors is literally doing a red spot. Just pink, 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 and just going in a circle like that. It's not exactly what I would call like a full spectrum wave of RGB awesomeness. And I'd prefer to see it where it's like really color cycling and doing like a rainbow of effects, not just changing one color every, you know, well, every time that it comes around to the loop. But all around, the nice thing about this is you don't need software to control it. Everything is controlled right here at the base. So if I start pressing buttons, I can start changing the type of colors that I'm seeing. So here I'm just changing solid colors. And so, or whatever color pattern showing. So like we've got solids here. You're still seeing the change going because that's the other button. And so as we go through, you can just see all these options. If I turn this effect off real quick, let me hit that other button here. There it goes. So there you can see we've got kind of a nice little color cycling thing going on. If I go to the next one, it's kind of changing the color thing in the opposite direction now. So the circle's going counterclockwise instead of clockwise. Hit it again, we've got a breathing effect. So there you go. And if I hit it again, then I got a nice solid color. So yeah, purple looks excellent. Then I've got a rainbow effect. So once again, I'll go through those solid colors. So this is really not bad at all. I mean, they've got really good RGB color effects. I really like the blue, it's just extremely deep there, really nice looking. The purple looks excellent. And then of course we have the rainbow thing going on. So yeah, not too bad. All around, it's a pretty decent little product going on. Maybe not quite as comparable color-wise as some mouse pads, but that's all right. Because you know what? Everything that the mouse pad can't do, the mouse really makes up for. We'll take a closer look at this real quick. So yeah, RGB effects. We've got multiple buttons going on. This is almost on the verge of like an MMO mouse, but not quite as many buttons as you get from your typical MMO mouse. We've got a thumb button right here at the tip of your thumb that all you have to do is just reach forward and you can make that click. I like that. That's a great button placement. I wish more mice would do that. In fact, I'd almost wish they do the same thing with the button placement for the tip of your finger there as you do the grip. Other thing I really like about these buttons, these are actually spaced very nicely so you can really feel the edges. Now, I'm not much of a thumb button guy, but you can really feel the edges so you know which button you're on. All right, if we want to change DPI, we've got this bottom button here. It actually just changes the DPI settings because this top button is actually changing profiles. Now you can change these and customize them, but it's just good to know that it's not up and down DPI, it's just change DPI by default and then profiles. So yeah, there's a kind of good closer look of the button schemes and the overall shape. On the bottom here, they use 5 of these really smooth little pads here to slide across. And actually those are really, they look sharp on the bottom, which, you know, obviously that doesn't make a huge amount of difference because it's not like you're going to be looking at the bottom of your mouse all the time. And they do feel really great. I mean, this mouse has an excellent glide to it. So I like that design. I'm pretty pro of that. Finally, we have adjustable weights. So Viper included, and I swear, I swear I just had this with me. So what they do is they give you this, I love canisters and cases. It makes me so happy when people give me stuff like that. So this thing was full of, well, you know, I used to have 6 other weights, and then there's that 7th one. So this guy was full of weights when I first got it. Obviously I've taken some out. And it's just a nice little circular canister that holds all those things in. I have not gotten to gunslinger levels of talent to where I can like just roll it and then drop all the weights in, but you know, I'll keep practicing on it. Viper logo on there, looks really sharp. So then all you need to do is there's just a little tab here, you lift it out and bam, there's all your weights. And so, yeah, really easy to adjust the weights. I actually am surprised that I went heavier this time because sometimes I don't like to go heavier, but on this mouse it worked out good. So these little weights, just pull, let me see if I can get that focus to what I want to do. Just, yeah, nice little weight. They've got the little lip on each side, so it doesn't really matter which way you put it in. It's really easy to get your fingernails to catch that and pull it right on out. And they don't slam in there really hard anyway, so they're pretty easy to pull in and out, but they hold firmly. So very easy to adjust the weights, make this mouse feel the way you want it to feel. So there we go, guys. I don't think there's a whole lot more I can add to that. There's just 2 little clips here. In fact, it might be easier to go from the back end and try to clip it in, but sometimes this clip can be just a little bit hairy getting it to set back down in there. But once you do, it's nice and smooth, feels great. So, and it's not like really hard, just have to just fiddle with it a little tiny bit. Doubt you're gonna be inside that a whole lot. Cool, there's our closer looks. Let's go ahead, move on now to our actual gaming performance, what my impressions are there, and then we can wrap this baby up. All right, guys, time to talk about this performance. Let's talk about the gaming mouse pad first, since it's pretty simple. So first off, never used a hard mouse pad before. I've always just figured, what's the point? If you have a hard mouse pad, you could just probably use your desk surface as long as it's a smooth surface, which is pretty much all I've ever done. But I have to say, an actual gaming mouse pad feels great. And I'm not sure why. And I would love to try to compare more hard mouse pads specifically to see, but there's something to the fact that they're doing a smooth enough texture that, you know, you can really glide easily across it, but not so smooth that it feels like it's uncontrollable. It's very weird. Like if I feel this, it's maybe just a very tiny hint of a micro amount of texture in there that's just enough to keep the mouse a little bit controlled, but still really smooth so that your movements are really simple. Honestly, I can't believe it, but I'm a complete fan. I would never want to go back to a cloth mouse pad because I really like that hard surface. It felt fantastic. I noticed especially when I was playing Battlerite, it just felt great to just move across and make my skill shots and make them happen on a hard surface. I tried it on both of my mice too, my current gaming mouse that I use regularly and the Viper V570, and they both it just felt great. So I'm super pro on the hard surface of mouse pad, although I doubt that Viper is doing something so special with their particular hard surface that it wouldn't be extremely comparable to other ones. So in general, I would just give hard mouse pads. I'd give hard mouse pads a general thumbs up on a personal level. Now, granted, that's probably not the information that is all that necessary. So let's talk about this V570. Gaming wise, this because of the cutouts on the thumb and on the side, it really caters to a claw grip. You're going to end up kind of feeling a little bit of a squeeze right here in your fingers. And I kind of get the purpose of a claw grip now. As I do that with my fingers, I start kind of arching the fingers more, and it does feel like it gives me a little bit of, I would say, a competitive edge. Because you start feeling like you have a little bit more control on your clicks, a little bit more control on your movements, and you feel like you can react a little bit faster. But it's definitely not as comfortable. You know, the claw thing puts definitely a lot of tension, especially in this part of my hand, and I did not like that for if it was long term. Now, thankfully, I don't really get hours a day of gaming sessions, so it's likely not to be a huge problem. But I could see it getting very uncomfortable very quick. But, well, maybe not very quick, but definitely over time. But it did feel like it had great control. Once again, I'm not a huge thumb button person, but testing out these thumb buttons, I like the way they feel. I love the fact that Viper notched those out a good distance. That felt great. Sensor-wise, absolutely no problems. Obviously, I've gotten to the point where past a certain DPI range, just about any mouse feels fine. As far as tracking is concerned, since everything I'm using is kind of an optical sensor anyway, I didn't see any difference, and it's just felt fantastic like always. So on gaming preference, it's great. The mouse clicks are extremely light. Maybe not extremely, but I think these are some of the lightest mouse clicking buttons I've used. So be careful if you kind of like to lay your fingers heavy on the buttons, you could get a lot of accidental clicks. I didn't have that problem, so I must keep a fairly light enough touch that, you know, I wasn't doing a lot of misclicks. Well, I didn't have any misclicks that I could think of or any accidental clicks. So as a gaming product, Viper is doing great. I don't think this would be my favorite mouse for working, but, you know, I would be going for something a lot more ergonomical in that case. So yeah, as always, looks-wise, this thing's fantastic. Gotta love this. Gotta love the RGB lighting. So overall, Viper has an excellent product, but it's really hard for me to classify, hey, you should get this or it's better than any other mice, because it's kind of a preferential thing. I do think, though, if you favor a claw grip, you're gonna wanna take notice of this thing. Let's go ahead, wrap up this review, try to wrap it up with some value. Okay, let's try to measure up Patriot's Viper's intro into this ridiculously crowded market that, quite frankly, I thought rat populations were bad, but, well, mouse populations might be getting worse. So the Viper mouse pad, Patriot has this listed on their store for pretty whopping $60, $59.99. And that's just a hard pill to swallow. I mean, I feel like at that rate, you're buying a mouse pad from Patriot because you really want their Viper logo, which admittedly is a pretty good reason. I mean, their Viper logo looks pretty darn awesome. But I don't know if it's worth quite that much. Especially since if you really just want an RGB mouse pad, you can do a quick Amazon search and find a plethora of them ranging from $25, $30 easily. Might be able to even grab one that's a good $20. Admittedly, I highly doubt they're going to have the same quality that this guy has. But are you going to get a couple years out of it? Probably. So you could buy 2 or 3 mouse pads for the price of one and just keep replacing them when you need them. That's going to be a tough sale, but it's still a really well-made product. I mean, we're not having quality issues. The lighting looks excellent, and that does matter. To have an RGB lighting that looks good, isn't washed out, and so on and so forth. So it's still a really good product, which means it's going to get a good hardware award from PureOC. Let's talk about the V570 Blackout gaming mouse. Once again, we're just talking about a stupidly, over-ridiculously saturated market. And the simple problem that I'm seeing is that there's not anybody that's changing the market, really, with the exception of one design that I am a huge fan of. And if you guys are interested in that, you can go through my channel and you'll find it pretty quickly. But otherwise, what do we have? I mean, Viper's V570 is an excellent product. It's got a good button scheme. I feel like it was extremely well thought out, and it's about as on cue of a mouse as I'm gonna as I'm gonna review or use on a personal level. So Viper's doing an excellent job, but it's so hard to stand out in the market because there's a lot of companies and a lot of people that are doing an excellent job. At $70 too, you're a little bit pricier than those $50 budget options that aren't gonna offer the kind of features, but will at least get into some gamer's desk because they needed a good budget option. So I still think though Viper's got a huge amount of quality going for them. Their LED effects look fantastic, and they're going to be better than a majority of the mice on the market, and you want to be really careful about messing around with a budget mouse. So it's a great product. It's a great hardware from Pure Overclock. It's a fantastic mouse, and I would say you are not going to be disappointed if you pick up one of these guys, especially if it favors your grip style. So there you go, guys. Another mouse pad, another mouse, another review. Hey, I'm one guy in a sea of a million, but mine's a special, right? So, I probably shouldn't ask for comments about being special. Anyways, that's all right. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hopefully give me a thumbs up and, subscribe to my channel if you don't mind helping me keep on going. And I will catch you later. Oh man, crap. I still don't have an RGB PSU though.